Hi, my name is Kim, and this is my new Booktube channel, Bookmarks and Breadsticks. First major caveat I need to make is food books are not the same as cookbooks. But food writing is a really small section of your local bookstore, and it's not something that people easily can walk up to, like reading YA fantasy or contemporary. Not that there's anything wrong with either of those genres. So what can you expect on this channel? What kind of videos am I going to make? The first thing you're going to see are book reviews, which I think is the most important part. I want to share with you what I'm reading, and hopefully you'll be just as interested as I am about the books. My favorite are chef memoirs. Honestly, the story that brings a chef from point A at the beginning all the way to the end in point B, maybe that's at the peak of their career, or maybe they're really seasoned into their career. I love those kinds of stories. I also really love food politics and food sustainability. I think it's really important we learn where our food comes from, and I don't mean just down the street at the grocery store. So where does corn come from? What does it mean to raise steaks, or cattle really, in America? And what does it mean on a global level? The third thing I love is food history. What is the history of the codfish, and how did it impact the early American pioneers and even our neighbors up north in Canada? Food writing can seem a little daunting if you've never walked into it, and I hope that through talking to you guys and discussing these book reviews, we can start a dialogue, and maybe you'll find a book that really sparks your interest and you didn't even know people wrote about it. My goal is to keep them under 5 minutes because I like quick and easy, and there will be times where I have other videos that are more in-depth and maybe have a little bit more analysis. I also have some favorite chefs and some favorite food writers. So I do think there will be videos where I do a whole overview of their entire bibliography. How many books do they have? Which are my favorites, and etc. A third video type is the book haul, because I love celebrating getting a new book. And besides that, maybe a couple new hashtags or a couple new monthly challenges. It really depends. I'm really excited to get involved with the booktuber community and see where this takes me. I think the first book that really sparked my interest in food writing was a book called Waiter Rant, which I'll link in the description below. It really is a memoir about a man who, originally in the book he's anonymous, becomes a professional waiter. Somehow he started off as a waiter as a side gig to pay bills. I think a lot of us had that experience. Maybe your first job was at an Applebee's or at a TGI Fridays. And somehow years and years go by and he's just moved up the chain into the fanciest restaurants in New York City. And he's a professional waiter. And the stories he's had, the customers he's had to deal with, some of the coolest customers he's ever met, it was really an engrossing book, and I loved it. And I probably read it when I was in high school. And somehow, year after year, I just kept gravitating back to these kinds of stories. What I love about food writing is it's real. It takes place in this reality, in this world, but sometimes the stories you can't even believe happened. I'm really excited to get started. Thank you to those who have already welcomed me to the Booktube community. You can follow me on Instagram and also at my website, which I'll also link in the description below. I won't read just nonfiction. I do love fiction books with food as the source. Julie and Julia, anybody? So I love recommendations. Put them in the comments below. Hope you're all well in these COVID-19 times, and more soon.